o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. Our top story tonight, disturbing new details into the arrest and charges faced for a Billings man captured last night by U.S. Marshals. Just one day after Marshals Service tracked down and arrested Willie Redd, court documents confirm what he's accused of doing. Redd also appeared in federal court for several charges. This afternoon, Q2's David J. has more from U.S. District Court.
Willie Redd made his appearance in the fifth floor courtroom by video from the Yellowstone County Detention Facility. He allegedly violated the terms of his supervised release, which included falsifying that he'd worked for a car dealership as a salesman. The newest information is in these court documents from Yellowstone County. The U.S. Marshals Service apprehended and took into custody the 35-year-old Redd at the Motel 6 on Midland Road late Tuesday afternoon. Court documents filed by the county attorney's office late today state Redd faces a felony count of aggravated assault of a 3-year-old girl. Now, warning, these next images may be a little bit difficult to view. On February 3rd, police responded to the Billings Clinic Emergency Department for a 3-year-old girl who was later flown to Denver Children's Hospital for emergency surgery. According to the county attorney's office, she sustained compression fractures in multiple vertebrae, a brain hemorrhage, chest trauma, and bruising all over her body. Investigators say Redd told them the girl was not wearing a seatbelt and suffered the injuries during a car chase and alleged shooting. The filing states that Amaya's doctor said her injuries could not have been sustained in that manner. Willie Redd remains in custody of the U.S. Marshals Service. We're told by the U.S. Attorney's Office that the county attorney will work with federal authorities to determine when Redd faces state charges. Russ?
All right, thank you, David. And the victim's family does tell us that the 3-year-old is doing better today. Well, the body of a young girl missing on the Crow Reservation for nearly 2 years has finally been recovered. The child's body is Mildred Old Crow, who was 6 years old when she disappeared. A law enforcement source told Q2 the body was recovered Wednesday from a camper near Gary Owen. An autopsy was being conducted today, but the county coroner has not yet released details. Mildred was last seen in March of 2019. Two hardened women facing charges in connection with the disappearance of Mildred are now back behind bars facing more charges. Tribal prosecutor David Sibley tells Q2 Veronica Tirzadust and Rosine Lincoln Old Crow are each being held on a $5,000 cash bond. Sibley recently filed an additional charge of custodial interference in that case against both of the women. Tirzadust and Lincoln Old Crow were captured as fugitives from justice in Billings back on December 23rd after the Crow tribe had issued warrants for their arrest on December 16th that stated they failed to produce the child nor any proof of life provided. Tribal Chairman Frank White Clay issued a statement today that says, in part, the entire community felt the loss when Mildred went missing, and we feel it again today. My hope is that we can find closure, grieve together, and work to ensure that children are protected and supported on the Crow Reservation and beyond. We want justice for this child and for all the victims of the epidemic of people missing from reservations across the country. Well, 31% of the state's missing people are Native American. That update comes from the state's missing persons specialist, Brian Frost. There are 167 people currently missing across the state. 53 are Native American. The Crow Reservation has the highest number of missing person cases with 10. At the task force meeting, officials praised the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes' response plan to missing people and feel similar plans could be beneficial across the state.
The first pilot project in the United States to develop a tribal community response plan to really address effectively emergent missing persons cases.
The Flathead Tribes Plan combines information from outside law enforcement to ensure tribes can guide and govern the process of finding missing and murdered Indigenous people. That task force will meet next month to provide more updates. Well, it started as a reported shooting incident in Belgrade late last night that unfolded into a wild multi-county chase that spanned for more than 100 miles before police were able to make an arrest early this morning. Tonight we're learning more about it from Gallatin County, where it all began. MTN's Gabby Crevitt has the latest.
We're learning more about a man arrested early Thursday morning outside of Garrison
after an over 4-hour-long standoff on Interstate 90 involving multiple agencies. The Powell County Sheriff's Office confirmed 35-year-old John Binkley from Belgrade is currently being held at the Powell County Jail. Interim Sheriff Springer with the Gallatin County Sheriff's Office says the incident began Wednesday night after the Belgrade Police Department was dispatched after a report of a partner or family member assault. The alleged suspect left the residence, and a Gallatin County Sheriff's deputy located the suspect and vehicle at a gas station in Belgrade. The deputy followed the suspect, who took off westbound on Interstate 90. Springer says a parked detective from the sheriff's office set spike strips at the Logan interchange, and the suspect opened fire on the detective's vehicle.
Yep, one of my detectives was out there. He had put his vehicle on the side of the road with the lights flashing, and then they deployed the spike strips in an attempt to deflate the tires. So it was obviously a police vehicle, and as the subject drove by, he put multiple rounds that direction, at least one striking the vehicle.
And Springer tells MTN News that no law enforcement officers were injured during the standoff. Reporting in Gallatin County, Gabby Crevitt, MTN News.
Well, speeds in that chase reached up to 100 miles per hour, and firearms were found inside the man's vehicle. Well, today, Governor Greg Gianforte signed House Bill 102 into law, which will significantly change the concealed carry of guns in Montana. MTN's John Riley has more from the Capitol.
In Montana, people can now carry concealed firearms without a permit in most locations and with a permit in state and local government buildings, such as the state capitol building. Governor Gianforte was joined by Representative Seth Bergley of Joliet and other Republicans for a signing ceremony of House Bill 102 in the governor's office.
House Bill 102 does several things. It allows for people to carry concealed firearms with the same amount of training in the same areas, in areas they can already carry open carry. And it erases the invisible line around our colleges and allows adults, to include veterans that have served overseas, to carry on college campuses.
Effective June 1st, college administrators are not able to outright ban concealed carry on campuses. However, colleges still will be able to prohibit the possession of a firearm at an event on campus where alcohol is being served or at an athletic or entertainment event. Deputy Commissioner of Higher Education Kevin McRae told MTN in a statement the Board of Regents' highest priority is keeping campuses safe places to teach, learn, live, and grow. They will be discussing firearms policy at their May board meeting. Governor Gianforte praised the new law and said that gun control measures don't stop crime.
Gun control measures step on the rights of law-abiding citizens. And our Second Amendment is very clear. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
The new law will also allow those with concealed carry permits to be able to concealed carry in bars, casinos, and restaurants and financial institutions like banks. Although businesses and landlords are still able to set their own restrictions regarding firearms. As for K-12 schools, firearm restrictions will be left up to the individual school boards. Reporting in Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
All right, turning to Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh. Ed, we went from a mild and dry winter to a cold and snowy one. How are we averaging out?
You know, things are kind of working out, but it's really month by month. Let's take a look. Through today, our average snowfall for the season would be around 32 inches based on the 30-year average. So far this year, it's been 47 inches, or about 1.5 times what we would normally see. No big surprise that October we saw quite a bit of snow. So we've seen 37 of the 47 inches of snowfall in just October, and what we've seen so far in the month of February. As far as the temperatures go, no surprise that they kind of lean the same way as the snowfall went. Colder than average in October, but then warmer than average November, December, January. Check out so far in the month of February, we're averaging 21 degrees colder than we normally would. Take a look at the forecast details and see if that trend continues coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Ed. RV parking, an amphitheater, and improvements to the First Interstate Arena. All ideas in a first draft plan for Metro Park, the concept master plan being released to the public, with the idea that this is just the start of the conversation. Now, the plans include dramatic facilities and footprint overhaul, including land west of the complex. The proposed master plan includes 3 possible options. Each would extend the north parking lot, adding overnight RV parking along the Yellowstone River and improving the carnival area, Walkways and landscaping would also be added. There are proposed new horse barns and another multi-purpose building. Plans include expansion of the lobby of the First Interstate Arena and the Expo Center. There's a transit station, pedestrian walkway, and hotel option west of the grounds. In a second option, there's the potential for an athletic stadium, while a third option could include a mix of both, an amphitheater and a new athletic stadium. County commissioners will have to adopt that master plan. The public can view the plans and weigh in with comments. In the meantime, Bill Dutcher with Metro Park says there's already work being done after the grandstands and Heritage Building were removed and the Carnival parking lot was repaved. Still ahead on the MTN 10 o'clock news here on Q2, for the love of music, we'll introduce you to one Montana student who is overcoming challenges one guitar string at a time. And then a little later in sports, from the Bears and the Bronx to the Rams and the Locomotives, it's another rivalry night on the hardwood. The highlights are on the way.